Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thanks for tuning in and welcome. Precious metals across the board are in the red. A lot of stability, a lot of support around the $24.25 range for silver and the $1,860 range for gold. Now, you might be asking, why are gold and silver down? Well, there's one reason in particular, and that's because the dollar is stronger. We know there's a direct correlation to the dollar strength versus gold and silver's strength. But I can promise you that will be short lived. You want to know why? Because once we throw trillions and trillions into the economy trying to keep everyone afloat, it's going to have a drastic pull on the dollar to the downside and to a much greater degree than a drug company announcing that they found a 90% cure rate, especially when there's only 50 million doses and it's going to be pretty hard to dispense that out to everyone needed. So, with that noted, with that in mind, knowing the context behind this situation that most people don't know, and that's why they're investing, hopefully, we know that gold and silver is a steal right now, especially if the price stays lower. Now, I found the stupidest thing anyone's ever said in a long time on this channel, and obviously, look who said it. Stock News. Someone who's investing into things that are pegged, directly pegged, and strictly pegged to the dollar, not looking at the reality of where we're headed. It's like switching seats on the Titanic, ladies and gentlemen. It's still going down. Now, let me show you this. I'm going to skip through this article and show you what they say. So, therefore, I see no reason to be aggressively adding new positions either in metal or in silver miners just yet. That makes no sense. He's saying, since it's cheap, since it's low, don't buy it. Wait for it. Wait for the price to get higher, right? That makes no sense. Why would you wait for it to start rising to then buy it? You're paying a higher price, especially if they know that the dollar isn't going to be strong for that long. Why would they tell you that it's low? They even say it's low near the September 23rd low at $22 before the correction's over. So he sees no reason to be aggressively adding new positions. He's basically saying, once the price gets higher, then buy in. That makes no sense. That's people that don't understand the true potential of precious metals. They really don't. They have no faith. They're looking at the day-to-day. You see how this perspective is looking from a day-to-day standpoint, very overanalyzing, not taking a step back and looking at where the price is heading or looking at the bigger picture. That's why people really don't make much money, especially in investments like gold and silver. But that's why we do, ladies and gentlemen. So anyways, we'll cover this article. I have another article as well. I have a lot more content I'm going to be posting today. If you don't know, I post 2-3 videos a day, giving you guys the inside scoop, keeping you guys in the loop on a daily basis of what's happening in the world of precious metals and what you should do about it. So definitely, you want to be subscribed. So here we go. It's been a rough couple of months for silver investors as the metal remains 20% below its year highs. Formerly glittering silver mines, or the SIL, has been trading below their key moving averages for weeks. Unfortunately, despite this massive sea change in performance of both metals and silver miners, we've still seen no clear sign of capitulation from the bull camp. And I don't want prices to rise right now. I don't. This means we can get cheaper silver heading into the new year, especially around this time where the holidays start coming. Right, there's winter time. You got the Black Friday, the Cyber Monday sales, the holiday sales. You can get so much silver for cheap. Definitely take advantage of it. It will lower your dollar per cost, your dollar per ounce average, and definitely earn you a lot more money in the long run. But people don't look ahead. They don't look at the full picture like we do. So in fact, bullish sentiment for silver continues to be higher than gold, even though gold has suffered a correction that's not even half as deep. While the bullish picture for silver remains intact as long as the bulls continue to play defense near September lows, there's no clear sign of the correction is over yet. Let's take a closer look. So the short term for silver and gold is definitely bearish, but we've known that. We've been talking about that for weeks. That's something we don't mind, right? We actually hope that. I hope silver stays around this $25-$30 range for years, because think about how much more silver I could add to my portfolio, especially if I'm not planning to sell anytime soon, right? I'm not planning on selling for another 10, 15, 20 years. So why would I want the price to be higher right now just to make myself feel better? No, I want to take advantage of this and get good prices. So as shown in the chart above, bullish sentiment for silver came near reaching the extreme pessimism zone ahead of the presidential election, but has raced back to the 50% bull level despite a moderate rise in silver price. While we saw a minor pullback in bullish sentiment yesterday with the metal down over 6%, it is very unusual to see bullish sentiment near 50% bulls for an asset class that is more than 20% off its highs, which is interesting to look at. Now, obviously, we see where this article heads, and this is why I rarely cover articles from places like this. But if there is a teachable moment, if there is some good stuff that I can make a point off of, I'm still gonna do it, right? Every article that I cover on this video is written the same day, if not the day before at the latest. These articles were written today, fresh off the press. So we know what's relevant, we know what's happening, and we can go from there. A lot of people blindly invest, and what I mean by that is they don't read these articles. They don't get informed on what's happening on a day-to-day basis. When they buy silver or sell or whatever decision they make with their strategy, they're doing it blindly. You gotta know what's happening behind the scenes. Context matters. You gotta be informed, especially if you're trying to make the most money. Imagine just finding something that everyone else starts buying and just buying it randomly or selling it randomly, not knowing why the price is acting the way it is or where the price is headed. That is vital. That is critical to investment. Any investor needs to know this stuff. So that's why you got to be subscribed to a channel, at least like mine. So November 10th, 2020, Peter Krause looks into what Pfizer and BioNTech's vaccine efficiency announcement could mean for gold and silver. And I already explained in the beginning of the video, we know what it means, and we also know where it's headed. Believe it or not, the big deal for precious metals this week was not the U.S. election. It was news that Pfizer and BioNTech's vaccine was over 90% effective in preventing the virus and would likely be among the first to receive FDA authorization. And it's interesting because they say preventing the virus. So it's not a cure, it's more of a prevention technique, which is even worse because there's only 50 million doses. And there's a lot more people that need that now. I thought it was 50 million doses to cure the people, which is more realistic because more people are COVID free than have it. So that's a very small amount. So, but most people don't know that. Most people didn't read the article where they said there's only 50 million doses, right? People think it's going to be plentiful. See, this is why you got to know what's happening in the economy. You got to know what's happening in the world, especially with stuff like this that could affect your investment. So Monday was massively risk on with the Dow soaring 4% to new record highs. 10-year treasuries yield shot up almost 17% in a single day as investors dumped bonds and oil was ahead 8%. So meanwhile, the U.S. dollar index gained about 60 basis points or 0.65% while higher beta currencies jumped. Gold and silver both sold off quite strongly and stayed near their lower price levels, which we already know is going to be happening. Right now, there's so much uncertainty. Everything is so shaky, right? People aren't certain what's going to happen. There's no market stability. There's no economic stability, so there's not going to be any price stability. Naturally, some gold and silver enthusiasts are asking themselves if a vaccine is enough to kill the virus as well as precious metals bull market. Based on this initial reaction to these metals, it's a natural question. So let's look at the implications. Is the gold and silver rally party over? The encouraging news that everyone's been waiting for appears to finally be here. We're getting a glimpse of light from the end of this long tunnel. And as a result, gold dropped $84, 4.3%, while silver lost 5.3% on this news alone. But this is a sign of things to come, or a knee-jerk reaction that's just short-lived or sighted. Although highly positive and very reassuring, the truth is we're not going to be lining up tomorrow to get our first 2 doses of the Pfizer's vaccine. The road to normalcy, whatever that will mean, is still a long one. And that's important to take note of right there. It's still going to be a long ways ahead. Because in that time frame, some other things are going to be happening, right? We have the stimulus that's going to be coming sooner than later. We also have the trillions dumped into green energy, which is going to hurt the dollar even worse. We also have this rising demand from green energy. We also have the silver shortage bullion sales, physical sales of these metals are up when we know the ETF side of things has nowhere near enough to support the physical side of things, which I'm going to cover actually later on today. So things are going to get worse before they get any better, and I can promise you, any scenario, any situation, precious metals will come out on top. That's why, the article before this from Stock News, it's just silly that people don't see that. I just don't understand how people don't play the tape all the way through and look at stuff like that, especially when you have, when you're a news source where thousands, if not millions of people see and read. So the solution may only exacerbate things. Realistically, this pandemic is a long way from being a distant memory. It's actually getting worse. There's actually more, the cases are rising than falling, where it's actually getting worse. Restricted movement, quiet cities, empty restaurants, cinemas and gyms, and mostly local tourism. Daily life will continue to trudge forwards. Unfortunately, that also includes the world's ongoing geopolitical tensions. I don't see relations between the two biggest economies, US and China, cozying up anytime soon, as both sides want to continue looking tough. And it's going to get interesting since there's someone new in charge, where this goes, or where this relationship goes. Right? If you can look back, if you remember last year, this was one of the biggest stories I used to cover, was the U.S.-China trade negotiations and what that meant. And this actually kickstarted this whole gold and silver rally. Remember, it was the U.S.-China trade negotiations leading the stock market volatility, the Iran tensions, the Hong Kong protests, the Saudi Arabian oil fields getting attacked or bombed. And that's all, that news happened all within like a 1 to 2 month time frame. All the stuff I just talked about. And that's what really kickstarted precious metals from a couple of years ago. So we know the Fed has promised to keep rates near zero through 2023, which is a long time, to support economic recovery. It also vowed to let inflation run hot above 2% to make up for years of anemic levels. Debts and deficits are going to, and that's actually, now that I think about that, inflation 2% higher while the dollar's about to get drastically hit with this $1 trillion stimulus. I cannot believe that people are still thinking things are going to get better. I can't even fathom, I can't imagine, to my wildest imagination, what's going to happen to the dollar, or what our financial system is going to do, or where it's going to lead to, especially since the USD is the world's reserve currency, right? Everyone across the world relies on the dollar's strength to hold, but I don't see how it can hold with all of these numbers that I'm looking at right in front of me. So debts and deficits are going to soar. Even with a Republican-led Senate, Biden's still likely to get a $500 billion to $1 trillion skinny stimulus bill passed early next year. Though well under the $3 trillion base by May, Goldman Sachs said this would still nearly 5% of GDP. Gold and silver still strong in my view. Gold and silver simply had not finished correcting after the gold established an all-time record high in August. And that was around $30 silver, led from $11 in May, $11 in March to $30 in August. Sentiment is a tricky market driver to navigate. But one thing is fairly clear, gold and silver hedgers, smart money, have not yet flipped to a bullish stance, as we don't want to. And they remain cautious. I wouldn't say cautious, I say we remain greedy, right? I mean, we remain definitely buying precious metals as they're still cheap. I don't understand how people don't understand that. Buy the curve. When these articles tell you to start buying precious metals, it's too late. Buy it right now, right? Buy it while everyone tells you not to buy it. And then you sell it while everyone tells you to buy it. Because people tell you to buy it after the proof is in the pudding, after it already started to escalate, after the price already skyrocketed. Then they say buy it because look, they can show you on a piece of paper, look at the charts, it's so high, you might as well buy it. But that means you're paying a higher price. Why not buy it right here, knowing it's going to go higher, and then sell it up here? Why would you buy it up here and then sell it down low when they say the market's crashing, so you want to get out, right? It's supposed to be buy low, sell high. Most people buy high and sell low. That's ass backwards, right? It makes no sense. So I believe Pfizer's positive vaccine news may only have a dented precious metal in a short-lived, just like I was saying in the beginning of the video, right? These articles, they hit on some of the good points, but I swear some of them it's interesting to see their perspective. What do you guys think about this? Do you guys think I'm crazy, or do you think I'm making good points? I'm curious to know, because everything I talk about on this channel, I try to speak from an unbiased, a relevant, a very intelligent, a very rational mind state. And what I say seems rational. I mean, I've been making videos for 4 years on here, 5 years, I don't know. And I've learned a lot. You know, I understand a lot how our economy works, economics. I understand our financial system. I understand how all this works. So I'm just trying to think, you know, rationally, but I don't understand. Am I missing something? I don't think so, right? So, anyways, I hope that you guys understand what's next ahead, what's next in line, right? Because there's one thing in particular that we have to remember. No matter what happens, precious metals will come out on top. That is vital information, because we can guarantee higher prices coming. So right now, we know that this is the cheapest, or for a while, this is the cheapest we're gonna get our precious metals. So take advantage of that, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, look at the price right now. The price of silver, $24.25. That's holding. That means this is the bottom. This is the bottom. The price won't go below this, and if it does, it will be very short-lived, because people will buy it up. Especially when you have an article like this saying American Silver Eagles are strong, and the strongest it's been in a while. So we know that this is the lowest silver's going to go. So this is the bottom. This is the best price we're going to get for a while. If we could go a year ahead in the future and we looked at this period right here, we'd be saying, man, I wish I can go in a time capsule, go backwards, and pay $24 for an ounce of silver, because it dang sure isn't that price right now, but you'll still be buying it though, right? So take advantage of it, right? It's almost like we have a crystal ball, and we can see into the future, because we know where everything's headed. We know where the dollar index is headed. We know where gold and silver prices are headed, for obvious reasons. And yeah. And if anyone doesn't see that, they're either not watching my videos, or they just don't understand how markets work. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. If you thought this video was educational, informational, or at least entertaining, make sure to smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new. I post daily videos. Stay tuned. I got some more videos later that I'm going to post that are just as important. Actually, the last week, definitely the last week, every single one of my videos is critical to watch. And I'm not just saying that to get views. I really don't care about views. I care about the quality of my content. And I promise you, every video that I've made is covering a very important subject that any investor in precious metals needs to know. The information is vital to know. I can promise you that. I'm not just making videos to try to make a video. I make videos when there's something I need to talk about. And there's been so much happening that every video is different. And it's all stuff that everyone needs to know, or I hope that you know. So I'm going to wrap this video up here. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.